Bismillah, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to another edition of Embrace the Day, powered by Halal Dawah Network TV. My name is Khalifa Muhammad, and we always go, thank God for life and another day to get it right. I pray everybody had a blessed weekend. This is this is Wednesday, and the days kind of like slipped by the Halal Wealth Builders. Let me tell you why. We had an amazing weekend this weekend here in Tampa, Florida. What was we doing? We were sharing Halal Wealth Building financial education. I mean, what we're doing is by Allah's permission, by God's permission, is that we're just teaching families and individuals how to increase the economy of their homes, which will increase the economy of the neighborhood and the community, and inshallah, by Allah's permission, the world. You know how a lot of things is happening right now. You see it. I mean, I really feel, and we feel, a lot of us feel that it came from that pandemic type of thing what happened a couple of years back. And then all of a sudden, poof, it just like disappeared. What? That was a plan. And if we don't keep our eyes open, they're going to push us with another plan somewhere down the line. Okay? So we got to be prepared for things. And then what happened during that pandemic type of thing is that a lot of jobs was lost. Not only was a lot of jobs lost, but a lot of companies and businesses and family-owned businesses that have been together for 50, 100 years is no longer in existence right now. That means a lot of people, they out of work and been out of work since then. And then now what are they doing? They got to try to see what they can do about getting them funds back in together. Well, that's what Halal Wealth Builders, what we love to do is to teach and train individuals what to look for and how they can be self-sufficient. I always say it like this too. If you had the opportunity to make a day's worth of wages, a week's worth of wages, or a month's worth of wages in a matter of minutes, would you want to learn that type of skill set? That question right there, if that's you, then you need to stick with us, because we're going to have an amazing show today by Allah's permission. We kind of like dubbed this show like the Artist Show, and we ain't talking about Prince, okay? we talk about those, and I love me some Prince. Now Prince was all right with me, I'm telling you, What we got is we have some individuals that the Halal Wealth Builders have uh, partnered with. And when I say partnered with, I mean partnered with in spirit. We galvanize together in spirit. And what we want to do, inshallah, in the next couple of weeks, we want to maintain a platform that is going to elevate and promote artists. Now, let me tell you why this is so important with the Halal Wealth Builders Dawah Network. Because many of us, we run social media for whatever reason it might be. But the most reason is because of some type of business or family. So when you're on there and you're trying to promote your business, or you're on there trying to get with your family, there's a lot of stuff that we like, oh, we got to like hide our eyes, like, oh, like stuff for Allah. You know, it's all that just to get to the good parts. Well, right here at the Halal Wealth Builders, we have gotten our own server. And another reason why we've got our own server is because on other people's servers, they monitor what we say. They monitor what we do. If they don't like what they hear, they can say, they can cut it off. They can say, oh, sorry, you don't meet the what is that saying they say, our community standards, and oh my goodness, what? Listen, they was doing that to the Halal Wealth Builders, and what was we teaching? Health and wealth, nothing else. So evidently, if it's going against their community standards, then they are not trying to think of nothing that's good for your health or nothing that's good for your wealth, period. So we said, you know what? We got to do something. So we got collectively together. We got our own server. That's right. We have our own server by Allah's permission. We got our own server. You know why? Because nobody can govern and tell us what to do. They can't press the buttons and cut us off for, you're on punishment for a week or you're on punishment for, no, that's not happening. Why? Because we're here for the community. And the reason why this show is so dear to my heart is because we teach to do for self. We teach to be able to maintain, if you can. Now, we know that, hey, some of us got to work. Why? Because you got to keep the lights on, and some of us eat. And some of us got to eat a little bit too much sometimes. But, hey, that goes with it. You have to work. But you don't have to build nobody else's empire. Period. You don't have to do that. So we can get away from that. And I love these two individuals because they do for self. And they do for self in an area that is so corrupted. When you're an entertainer or when you're an artist, when we're on somebody else's platform, that platform sometimes could be very, very corrupt. Okay? So I really tip my kufi off to those that are in that areas and in those lanes and maintaining their discipline and their love for the creator of all the worlds and showing that in their talents. That's very important. Of course, it goes against a lot of other people's community standards, but we don't care about them. We're here to teach it and share it. And this one first artist that we have on is amazing, because yes, being here at Halal Wealth Builders, we go through and we search it and this one just popped out at me. It popped out at me because first of all, she's a poet, and so poets just express to me. They express their inner feelings, and the ones that express it the best grab the people the most. And she definitely grabbed me. I immediately just started searching, and I reached out to her, and she was like, "Of course, let's go, let's do it." And because the Halal Wealth Builders been on tour, we had to bounce around a little bit, but we made it happen. And let's bring on our first artist of the day. We have two artists now. Our first artist today, Sister Aisha. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, brother. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, Allah's most kind. How are you, sis?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, same. I'm
Yes,
well.
ma'am. Well, I know something about you, a little about you, and I've been doing my research, and I'm sure now everybody else is starting to do some research now too.
You're not gonna find much. I ain't gonna lie, but alhamdulillah, I
But
love
what
what
they
I
do find, sister, if they're gonna be very, very pleased, So if you would let everybody know who sister, and I said, am I saying it right? Aisha?
Yeah, yeah, that's my name.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
Sister, let's say sister who sister Aisha is. What have you been doing? And give us whatever it is that you want to share uh, with our
Oh,
viewers. Yes, ma'am.
okay. Well, first, thank you so much for having me. Alhamdulillah, I'm glad that we both made it. You just even having contact and having this, experience together because, life is life and a lot is going on. So I'm blessed to just be able to be here. So thank you so much for that. But yeah, my name is Aisha. That's with an A, not an I, which a lot of the times that's where people think my name is that AI, which actually gives me my name. That's my stage name, Aisha with an AYE. Um, I would say, let's say I'm from Richmond, Virginia, born and raised. I moved to Pennsylvania maybe less than a year ago, so I now live, in Delaware County, which is, pretty cool. I really do like the change, especially from being in a small town, city for a very long time. And I do poetry. I write poems, and I love, sharing them with people.
That's good. That's a great start right there. So listen, with that being said, what got you into the poetry?
Ooh, let's see. Well, I guess like all poets, we kind of feel like we've always been poets. As long as we've been alive, we feel like we've been rhyming in some form, even in our early childhood. But I would say formally, probably more like as a teenager, that's when I started strategically writing poems.
Okay.
But more recently, I would say I've gotten into like slam culture, like competing in poetry and actually the performance poetry. So we're looking at about maybe 2 years or less with that.
Now that's a big move, right? Just from writing poetry, just okay, I'm gonna go into to competition. How did that happen? How did that elevation happen?
Um, well, let's see. I don't know if you're familiar at all with and I'm sorry, like I am outside, so I'm sorry if there's like
That's all right. We good.
part
With
of this
this allow
conversation.
wealth builders. We do this.
All right. Well, I was a competitor in Mist. I believe it was 2011. I was like in my maybe junior year in high school. The Muslim interscholastic tournaments where like students get together and compete in different cities in like these competitions, art, poetry, writing, basketball. Um, and I competed in the poetry competition, and that was my first time performing. I did not win. I believe there was a poet at the time, Naeem Beige. I believe he's still a writer. And Bona Muhammad, he performed at the ceremony, like where they give the prizes and the awards. And he had done this poem, and I was completely overtaken. It changed my idea of poetry, and I was like, oh, this is why I didn't win, but soon I will be. Like I get it now. I
Ah,
understand,
that's
and
nice.
it's been staged for me ever since.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now your content. Where
Mhm.
does your content come from? Where does these ideas? Where does that spirit come from?
Life always, things that I experienced that for whatever reason I have to get off. If a lot of times it's things that don't sit right within myself. I've never really been a happy poet. You'll never really see me have a love poem, even though I'm happily married. I'm a mom of three. Like there's lots of love in my life, but I promise you won't find one. Doesn't exist. I definitely stick in the controversial. I definitely stick to the ideas that for some reason it gives me the ick, and I have to write it out in order to make some type of logical sense out of it, and then share that experience as authentically as I can.
You know, that's originally how you know hip hop and rap started. Okay, and it just got started from the young brothers and then eventually the young sisters sharing their life and what it is and the struggle just and I love poetry. I was in Atlanta, Georgia. In fact, me and my brother that's coming on, we used to go to a couple of places, because that's one of the things we did, he used to write too. I'm not sure if he still writes, but I know that writing is key though. Do you ever get anything that it just flows automatically, or you usually got to put it down?
You mean like as far as freestyle?
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, I've never. And that I get that from my mom. She always like if she had to tell somebody something, she would write it in a letter first. I do
Okay.
not have much experience and or skill with freestyle. I definitely have to. I have to at least have like Google Notes or something. Because if I try to leave it up there, I'm gonna forget it. I have to get it on paper first.
Okay. Okay. Well, in our studies and our finding out and things like that and investigating, we found out that we kind of we don't have a similarity yet, but the Embrace the Day and the Halal Wealth Builders, we're actually going to the ICNA convention 2 weeks, and then, and in Baltimore, and 30,000 plus Muslims and going to be there, the vendors, and we really look forward to it. And then when I got your information, I was like, what? So you actually was not only at ICNA, but you actually won the competition. Am I correct?
Right, that is correct. I won first place last year in the ICNA Poetry Slam. And I mean that was such a beautiful, blessed experience because it was one of those situations where about 2 or 3 weeks before ICNA, I had no intentions of coming. My family ended up like going and kind of invited us along, and we kind of were like, well, I guess if our family's going to be there, why not? And then from that experience, I found out there was a poetry slam, and I was like, oh, well, let me just sign up because I am a poet. So I had no expectation to win or really prepare for it or anything like that. So it was really.
So you mean your family just going to be part of the visitations and all of that good stuff and hear the lectures and eat the good food, and you found out that it was a poetry stamp and you signed up and
Well,
you won.
yes and no. So it was
Okay.
like you have to like register before, because how they did it was like you had to send in the poem and they would pick 12 people from the submissions by this deadline
Okay.
before ICNA. And then if you were one of those 12, you would compete that weekend, and then from that 12 they would pick, I believe it was top two, because they did like a youth category as well. So I won first place in the adult category, and I believe there was a second place, Leanne, sister, I do not remember her last name, but an amazing sister, amazing poet, amazing poem. She won the youth category for that year.
Okay. Okay. That's beautiful. All right. The last question before we bring on my brother, okay, is so you got a little. Is there like a little like a circuit that you got some poets and that or do y'all go around? Do you know each other?
Yeah, I would like to say, I felt like, different camaraderies in different states, especially along the East Coast. Because at one time in my early adulthood, I lived in North Carolina, Fayetteville. So, there's some very well-known poets from that area that I've been able to establish those connections with early on. And then Richmond, Virginia, where I'm from, Roscoe Burnham, the former poet laureate of Richmond, Virginia, was my very first slam coach. My first year slamming, I actually made the team to represent Richmond in the national competition, and we went and took third in the nation. So just being able to have that group of people and that team, that I know anytime I go to Richmond there's a poetry home there for me, is amazing. And yeah, now I'm in like near Philly. I'm 30 minutes outside of Philly, which where Voices and Power is located. They're the largest poetry scene on the East Coast right now, so being able to hop to their open mics when I can is an amazing blessing. So I try to be in and out.
Okay. Well, listen, and if you don't know, now you're gonna know. You can't just go in and out on Halal Wealth Builders and don't give us a little something. Do you got something that you give us?
Like a poem?
Yes.
Man, if you ask a poet to do a poem, they're gonna do a poem.
All right now.
So let's see. I guess. Okay. I got you. I remember my father teaching me chess. He said that each piece stood its ground in honor, held no animosity towards laying down its life for the cause. He said that a queen was the most powerful piece, and that this is the real reason they're murdering our mothers, some buried moments before giving birth, leaving our kings defenseless, to then defend our babies by themselves in the minefields, or under the rubble. Rook takes Bishop to the churches and the hospitals they've destroyed, and finds the pages they refuse to perish, reads them out loud as they prove prophecy and the grandmasters of the game, playing its citizens like pawns, knowing that a knight with glistening stars or shining armor has yet to rise. No, the powers that be don't want to hear the Muslim voice. They never wanted to invite us in for dinner, but they love challenging us to chess. Rather not have to offer us a seat at the table or break out the fine china for fear that we would steal it or stain it. Either way, the potential loss too big of a risk to take. They're afraid they would strategize picking locks, picking at their top secret security clearance conversations. I mean, they know that we see 8 moves ahead, and that's when ops become proactive. And distracted people distract people, so they board windows and they build walls on the chessboard, building the perfect blocks for war. I mean, let's be real about it. Most of them have nightmares of the truth, spewing through our mouths like bullets, hollow tipped by trauma, so they just might explode like bombs into millions of thoughts and opinions. The Muslim voice is too dangerous to digest daily. It's too technical, too touchy, too terrorist. Or maybe helping the homeless is too hard a test of your humanity, or maybe God forbidding any of us to profit from interest is a hole in their back that they can't afford. I mean, these are the real reasons they want us dead, while they prefer we sit silent, make easy for them to plot and scheme on the oppressed while dignifying the oppressors who bring guns to rock fights. And tell me what could possibly be the excuse when there ain't no more questions and the cause of corruption and catastrophe is written permanently in blood. I mean, history books lined with lies that speak volumes, and the blood, when it's dry, becomes the very voice of the people they attempted to erase. Home.
Ooh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I know you are so passionate. Let me think. Let me see. Let me get it in there. Let me get it in. Listen, yeah, we can tell that you were passionate with your art and you're passionate with your craft. May Allah continue to bless you and give you the highest level of success here and in the hereafter. Listen, sister, we'd like you to continue to stay with us, and so we can give everybody some last words at the end of the show. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's cool.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. And let everybody know that's on right now how they can follow you and get in contact with you.
Let's see. You can follow me on Instagram at Aisha with an A. That's AYESHA with an AYE. And yeah, I would say just tune in, reach out to me if you have any questions. I do sell merch. I have beanies. If you're more like local, I do sell CMOS. So like if you need any vendors, things like that, definitely let me know. I'm available.
There you go. Well, you have it. Just hang out with us in the green room, and we're gonna we'll bring you back on for any last words. Thank you much. Thank you much. Woo! Come on, y'all. If that was good for you, you need to get and follow that sister, and not only just follow. You heard she got merch. So when you got that merch and you love somebody, see what we are as a community, what we do, we support each other. So next up at back. He's been in the battlefield. He's been in the dugout, swinging out. He's getting pumped up, and he's getting ready to come on. I've known this brother for a very, very long time now. My brother for a long time, and he has been a striving artist. And he has been, and look, and I'm talking about art. Woo! Something that you definitely would want to either have in your house, in your office, something, that is just, he can do it by request. But he has a lot of experience and a lot of work. Let's bring on my brother from another mother from a past. Ha! My brother, Brother
Yes,
Samuel
sir.
Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. What's going on?
How you doing, fam?
I'm good, man. I can't complain, man. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Beautiful, man. I'm happy that you can be here too as well, man. So listen,
Mhm.
hey, how you like that art? How you like that poet, man?
Oh, she was powerful, man. She's powerful. I love the way she set it up with the game of chess. Flip,
Yes, sir. Yes,
really
sir.
good.
Yes, sir.
Genius.
She threw
Yeah,
pops in there. She said, "My dad taught me how to do this."
right,
Ah,
right.
it's like that's what I'm talking about. I gave homage to Pop Dukes, man. Right?
Exactly. Then she threw the
So
queen in
listen,
there. Yes, sir.
yeah. The queen, the whole 9 yards. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So,
Righteous.
brother, I know you. So I want you to give everybody who Brother Samuel Muhammad is, what you've been about, and then we'll start from there.
Man, that's loaded. That's loaded, man.
Good.
I've been traveling so many different lives, you know what I'm saying? I don't know which one to start with, but as far as the art goes, that's just been part of my MO since I was a child. I came up New York when in the 80s, 90s, when the graffiti scene. And but there was a big spark of fine artists as well, because everybody couldn't go and do the K Slay move and go on the tracks. Some people's we everybody didn't have that kind of freedom. But there was a big how can I say, there was a big spike in creativity coming out of the hood. So all the high schools had like these art programs, and I went to one of the biggest art schools in New York, right near Lincoln Center, called LaGuardia, that the movie Fame was based on. So I went there for fine arts. But when you go to the fine arts, there's nothing but taggers in there. Everybody that tag on the train, tagging their books, influenced by the urban scene, which with Basquiat, Andy Warhol, Keith Haring. All of these different artwork was everywhere. It was all on the handball courts, the trains. I mean, just raw vandalism, though. This is
It was
not like, oh,
vandalism,
the
but
art.
it
This
looked
is
good. But it
it
looked
looked
good.
good, but it was considered vandalism. Now they embrace it, but at that time it was people, the mayor was talking about it. I think it was Koch. So anyway, I came up from that type of climate. And of course, the Nation of Islam in the movement, 5% movement, Black Power movement. So it was a lot of energy, a lot of colors, a lot of expression. Like, you saying hip hop is just, they were figuring out a way to express themselves and stumbled upon hip hop. It's just like, where's my voice? And it's just this outpour of expression. You're not going to stop my expression. So I was influenced by that. And I, developed my style, based upon that kind of inspiration. And I've been traveling on that road for a long time. A lot of my peers, once we got out of high school, instead of going to college, we went out to West 4th Street. We went out to Houston. We went out to Washington Square Park. Anywhere you want to go. You can go right by Saks Fifth Avenue. You can go by by the shops, the high-end shops on Fifth Avenue. Get a little corner, set up a table, put your prints over there, and original paintings that you paint on sheets of canvas, hang them with, clotheslines. And there's people that come to New York that just look for artists that they want to buy stuff, roll it up, and take it on the plane. That's why a lot of artists, New York artists, their work's not framed, because we used to just selling it on sheets of canvas for tourists to take, because they come from Italy, they come from Amsterdam, they're coming from Germany, they're looking for the artists. You know what I mean? They see the work at that time, and we were able to clean up, make good money. And then a lot of artists, I got a friend of mine who's doing great right now, and then some of us go through the other things, trying to figure out how to turn it into a profession, how to turn it into a business. And just to fast forward to the earliest commission I got was with Nike. I got a commission with Nike. I don't even remember what year it was. It had to be like 2002. And they had this thing at South Street Seaport. There was an event for LeBron James. And I was selling art in Harlem on 125th Street. I remember I was like, oh, I'm going to set up. It's a Whole Foods now, but it used to be just a gate. where it was rubble and it was a gate around it because they were doing the construction. I had all my work on the gate, and it was right across the street from Lennox Lounge. So there was all these celebrities going to Lennox Lounge. Then you go to Sylvia's, and they would take a tour. So they would come through my
They
little
would have
room,
to pass your
and I would have the little buildings, and I used to just do buildings and trains and stuff. People come and cop the work there. So anyway, a brother came to me and said, "Hey man, I got an opportunity for you to do this Nike. They want an artist, raw artist from the street to do a mural. This is my first mural. Well, it's my second mural job. My first mural was at a community center in the 90s when I was in high school. But this is the first big mural. And I remember the guy was like, hey, how much you want for the mural? I finally met up with him and went down and see. This is two big walls. I don't know where to begin. I've never done anything bigger than something that my arms could reach. So
right.
He's like, how much you want for the mural? And I'm like, give me $5,000. Just throw a number out there. He was like, what? Went in an envelope, threw me $5,000 real quick. And then I learned the brother that hooked me up with the job, I hit him with a little $100 or whatever for the referral. He was like, the way he went in his bag. Well, actually, my brother Paul, peace be upon him, but my brother Paul that passed away. He was like, man, you should have let me talk to him. You got to figure out what the budget is like.
That sound like Paul, man.
He throwing out numbers. He was trying to play you to see, because I didn't know what the gauge. He said you could have got like $10,000 because he had a petty cash. So the point of the story is that they always have a certain amount of allotted income toward art, and they're always looking for a way to shortchange the artist. And the artist usually is very engaged in the expression of the art. I'm thinking about the opportunity, the challenge of the art. I'm not thinking about the value of what I'm bringing to the table. They know the value. They know, hey, we're going to do this LeBron James Day. We're going to have these raw meal. Look at this guy. They're looking at your hand. They're looking at your palette, your use of color. And they know in the film and with all the other aesthetics, it's going to pop for them. And who knows the residual rewards they get from the right imagery, But you're just in that moment. You just want to do something great. You want to, it's really like it's an opportunity to do something bigger than yourself and channel Allah's beauty through yourself. Be a conduit of that. You know what I mean? And it's a pure exercise. So you're excited about doing it. You want to do it. And you're not thinking about the value, but you got to think about the value. And if you don't know how to think that way, you got to have a partner who's got that kind of mindset that could do the conversation for you, get the right amount of compensation, because at the end of the day, got to keep the lights on, overhead on, children got to eat. And that can interfere. That has so much force and power overhead that it can interfere with your ability to be inspired, because you got to be inspired to create. Even though they say, but they also say inspiration is for amateurs. So you have to be able to create inspiration despite conditions as well. So it's a big undertaking.
I never heard that. You said you got inspiration is for amateurs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be using that now. I'm gonna be doing all day.
You can't be waiting on inspiration. You wait for inspiration in 5-10 years to go by waiting for inspiration. The universe keeps turning while you're waiting. And then time has little pockets of opportunity for you that you miss. And then by the time you catch up on the inspiration,
it's gone.
So it's gone. And then there's somebody else. And that's why
it is. Yeah. At what point did you say I'm gonna get serious with this?
That's a good question, man. And it's really about Allah forcing me to submit to the art.
Ooh.
He said, if you're not going to submit to this craft that I gave you, I'm going to close every door that you think is where you should be. I'm going to close every door if you come and surrender to the craft. So I had to say, at the end of the day, this is not working. That, my soul was not in agreement with the rat race. You know what I'm saying? I could play it. Actually, people tell me I could play it. I really can't play it. But
come on.
No, but people tell you, hey man, you could do good, and you agree with that. You say, oh, you can make this kind of money. You get in there, you go through the motions with it, and it's just not it. Your soul is not in it. If you know when your soul is not in agreement with a space, anything that you're in. A lot of people, they say, would you kill a messenger of Allah willingly? So, right, Allah's always talking to you, and you if there's an agreement with what you're doing, or if it's off. You know what I'm saying? And you can say, no, you don't know. This is what I got to do, because I got to. You can make all these justifications, but at the end of the day, the soul, the essence of the individual, will always rise. Or the people, that's why people use drugs and stuff. They're trying to suppress something that their soul is calling them to arrive to. And instead of being courageous in life and going toward the struggle of the jihad, they'd rather try to medicate it. You know what I'm saying? Which is a
run
problem.
Away from it.
Yeah,
right.
Run away from it. Yeah. So so put me into this game, man, and I'm still. I'm just right now at the point where I'm just happy with being in agreement with my soul, with what I'm doing.
What you just said, brother, is something really pertinent that anybody can use in any aspect of their life. You said, I've been through there. I've been there. It was funny, my people. They would say, because you remember I started out, I was DJing, boom, DJing the whole 9 yards, all that DJ, and making good money. But my people would say, why don't you just get a job? Why you don't get a job? Why don't you, So I'm like, okay, maybe that's what I need to do. And I try to get a job, and I was like, this is not working. This ain't for me, But and then you said, going through the motions. That's the worst thing anybody can do. Is continue to just keep going through the motions because you're not happy what you just said. You're not happy with what you just said. When Sister came on, I don't know if you recognize it, but when she came on and it was time for, we asked her to do a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
She came on, it was like, Khalifa wasn't there no more. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Khalifa was not there. She went into her, just like you said, into her spirit, into her own self, right? And guess what? She came out with her craft, her art, that gift that Allah Ta'ala gave to her. And that's what I see coming out of you, fam, when it comes down to that pen and that paper. See, people, I've seen it. I've seen blank pieces of paper transform into what he's standing in front of right now. Mm-hmm. And I don't see like every second of it, but I'll see a blank piece of paper, and 2 or 3 months later I come back and I'm like, whoa, that's fire. And all of that is in him. And I'm saying that to say, and I'm going to bring our sister too, that everybody has some type of expert thing within them. And most times, especially when we're speaking with the Halal Wealth Builders, the most thing that we get from people is they say, I don't have the time. I don't have time. And I'm like, how long have you been suffering that? Because time, in truth, if we really, 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 really look at it, you're right. You don't have time. That's the Creator's time. He gave it to you. What are you going to do with it?
Right.
Are you going to continue to build somebody else's thing and just work for? Listen, or are you going?
You're exuding the same energy for the time, the energy you're using for somebody else's purpose. It's going to reward them. It's going to give you a percentage. but you can take the same energy, apply it at a higher percentage where it could benefit you. You know what I mean? But yeah, so
That's it. And with that, we're gonna bring Sister back on to let her join us for the last few minutes. Sister Aisha.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa
Islam.
alaikum salam. And what do you think about what was said just now, Sister Aisha, when it's like, because I saw you. It was like, in the old days, hey, bro Sam, in the old days, or I don't even know about the old days, but they be like this, and they ask them to do something, an artist or something, and they be like,
Right.
and then bust into it. And I'm like, woo, that's
deep. Or they can't pull it off. Or they
They
run.
can't pull it off.
She was ready. She's a professional, man. She's like, okay, you want one? Some people be like, oh no,
that's what she bet. Hey, that's how she handled me too. She's like,
you know what I'm saying?
She's like, you can't, you ask a poet. Yeah, I got something for you. Hold up and come back.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I do have a trick. I always, in my head silently, I say the dua of Prophet Musa when he went to speak to Pharaoh. Y'all, expand my chest and untie my tongue so they can understand my speech.
Ooh.
Like, I have to say that to myself. Like, I have to really get into that space, and I'd be like, okay, now I can do the poem because I know what I have to do.
Wow.
So, and that's like, I imagine Brother Sam, that's like when the brother said, hey, can you do this mural? And he said, you hadn't done nothing no bigger than what your arms could. I saw him. He was on, and that's, I wanted to talk to you about that. I was like, you're on a ladder. Yeah. It was basically something. I ain't gonna say it was just that, like that portrait that he's standing in front of, sister, but basically that, like that, on a 20 by 20 he did.
Mm-hmm. Now I've done like 4 murals, 4 to 5 murals. I've been doing murals since then. It's easy now, but yeah.
Is it like tagging?
No, it's like immortality, right? And it might be ego driven, but I'm like, I want to do something that shows that which was the original spirit behind graffiti. I'm here, I'm alive. This is my stamp. This is my contribution. With Allah's help, hopefully it brings joy to you, it brings happiness. This is going to transcend in my body and my blood. When I'm born, this is going to be here. This is an opportunity to put my mark on the planet. So when I look at it, I think like that, what can I do to represent to make an impact, what I mean? To move people, because you want them to look at the work and you want something to be moved. You know what I mean? You know how you sometimes see a movie, you're like, when you go see Godfather, you see a movie, you see Goodfellas, it moves you. The highest level of science is art. People look at it low, but it's $1 billion industry. The powers of this world, they use the theater, they use music, they use fashion, they use the arts to control the people's minds. So you can move people into a space away from Allah, or you can move them closer. They may not recognize it as Allah. Everybody's not enlightened to that point, but they can be moved to that positive space or that negative. You know what I mean? So I'm like, how can I help people be moved? Think about all the people that are going to walk by this wall after I'm gone or while I'm not here. Am I going to be doing the work that will bring them closer to the reality of Allah, a supreme being or supreme beauty of things? Or am I going to take them, into the dirt? You know what I mean? So I love the challenge and the responsibility.
Yeah. Yes, sister. With that being said, when you're performing, does the spirit of the audience, because this is poetry. This ain't no hip hop where they just jamming. This is poetry. So do you feel the spirit from the audience that maybe will change the way you project or say or perform?
I mean, absolutely. I feel like, as a teacher, it's all about, the students. It's all about the audience. You feed off that energy for sure. And I think that for me, going back into what you guys were talking about, is explicitly important because I'm 9 times out of 10 coming with something very different than what they're used to hearing their whole life, let alone that night, So I kind of have to really be careful of that exchange because, when I'm going up there and looking the way I look, I can't cuss. You know what I mean? I can't talk
Right.
about certain things. I can't give you what you really want to hear and what I know you're here for.
You're used to hearing, right?
Right, but I still have to give it to you. You still got to eat it. So, that exchange of trying to have a positive, energy, like get the crowd hyped and excited and really into the poem, but also understanding like you have to think, you have to use your mind. You're about to hear something real and it's going to be different than what you think the night out is going to be about. So, absolutely.
That's hot. I like that.
Yeah.
We represent a certain level of humanity. And once we represent that certain level of humanity, right away, their spirit is changed. They'll see brother Jay, they'll see brother Sam, and when he come out with his portrait, with his pictures and with his art, it's like, whoa, you gotta stop. You have you have to stop. And the same thing with you when you come on stage, they gotta know that, like you said, okay. We ain't gonna hear this happy love, or that type of stuff right there. Definitely no foul language, no disrespecting and things of that nature. So now they have to focus. They gotta focus. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm gonna tell you what both of y'all just did though. Both of y'all just auditioned for one of the Halal Wealth Builders next events where we having in Tampa. I feel that we have to add some art, performance, and regular art, in this. Although y'all are two different areas of art, the background, the spirit, and the making, that's all the same. You're just in two different areas, and I want to be able to connect with y'all to make sure that we continue to stay together and go forward. I spoke with both of y'all. I spoke with both of you that we're going to inshallah eventually have a show. I don't know if it'll be weekly. It'll probably be a monthly show where we're actually promoting artists. We're actually promoting artists because I all of my times, we always hear starving artists, but artists shouldn't be starving. They should be having everything that they have to them, with them, because once again, that's a gift from Allah that's within, that's coming out. And you know what? I want to say this too. I learned this from when I first started my podcast. It wasn't even called podcast back then. It was radio or TV. All right. And I was doing security for Barry Hankerson. That's Gladys Knight's husband, ex-husband, Aaliyah's uncle. And he was proud. He's like, wow, that's good, brother Cody. That's good, man. Do that. That's nice. And then he said, well, what do you charge? What do you charge when people? And I told him what I charged. And he looked me in the eyes. He said, bruh, he said, you're selling yourself cheap. And I was like, whoa. And I didn't think I was selling myself cheap. I thought I was doing pretty good. He said, you're selling yourself cheap. He said, that's a gift from Allah. He said, God, that's a gift from God. He said, you can't sell him cheap. He gave you that. So what you said, Brother Sam, is real true, because your lane and most artists' lanes is the art. The business aspect, sometimes because you are passionate and want everybody to see your art or hear your art, we might sell ourselves a little under the bar.
Right.
So we need to make sure that we do have that person that's unapologetically unemotional and be like, yeah, 10,000.
Right.
or whatever the case may be, you know, and not to, and you know, because look, because, and this is what I'm talking with everybody. When you when you take yourself out of the equation and somebody else is standing there in front, then the people will look at the whole thing a lot different.
Yeah.
They look
Yeah.
at the whole thing a lot different. So with that being said, we always would like everyone to have a word to the youth. So, Sister Aisha, do you have anything that you could say to the youth?
Um, keep Allah first, like in everything. I feel like that's always speaking to myself first. And when I speak to myself, I also speak to my younger self because I'm the oldest of like 15, you know, in a certain dynamic in my family. So I'm always speaking to the youth in other children and other people's children, and keep Allah first. Like in school, in your career, in your art, in your craft, in your relationships with people, in the way you carry yourself. Because when you do that, not always will it be easy, it won't always be simple, but you will always see the reward of it. You will always see the reward of it in some aspect. And when you don't do it, keep in mind, be self-aware enough to know when your decisions lead you outside of what Allah said. Because when you can understand that connection, all the fluff looks like fluff. It doesn't look like the glitter that we be trying to think it is or what we're taught. So keep Allah first in your mind, and your actions and your heart will follow.
Alhamdulillah, that's what I'm talking about. Brother
Yes, sir.
Sam, what do you have for the youth, brother?
The one thing that I tell my children is don't do anything to satisfy the pressure of your peers. So if you're doing something because you're trying to seek the approval of whatever group you want to be a part of, that's not the right intention. So if you're doing anything, it's got to be natural. You love doing it, and the group that you're with are in support of that, and they are congruent with what you want to do. If you feel like you're trying to become something for others, that's when the equation is off. So you got to be confident enough to follow what works for you and gravitate towards those who are your type of cut, because everybody's different, especially when you're young, you're coming up. It's not good to be in cliques, but when you're coming up, you do want your little dynamic, your little group dynamic. But sometimes you undermine your own group to try to
Mm,
be a part of another group, and that's when you become a sucker because everybody knows who's who, right? So you could be trying to be something, all the rest know you're not one of them, and they use you as as that could happen. It's also what I'm saying, uh, don't do anything to satisfy peer pressure. At the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to say.
and
Yeah,
that's good. And let me tell you, everybody, peer pressure can be a real hurtful thing. Okay,
yeah,
so let's that, and that's I always say that I actually say all of that what you just said, and sister, keep Allah first. You keep Allah
right.
first, and you don't forget. And then when you do it, see if you keep them there as much as you can. When you, if they happen to get off the path, if you had enough in you, if you had enough saved in you, you can get back on it. You know what I'm saying? So, I want to say this in my closing words when it comes down to the gift from the creator of all the worlds. He has gifted everybody individually. Okay. And it's up to us to find out what it is that Allah gift us with that He wanted us to do. See, you know, I'm sure a lot of people would like to draw and paint. You know, I can't even make a stick figure look good.
Right.
Okay, for real, for real. I come back. Listen, I love hip hop and rap. I love it, right? I come from the old school, from them. I know them personally. The Run DMCs, the Dougie Freshes, I know them personally, right? I can't pick them. The only thing I can do with a mic is pick it up, okay? All right? So, when it comes down to my dad used to say this. He used to say, leave every man or woman to their own craft and their profession, and they will master it. They will master it. So find out what it is that you have that you are very good at. And if it pleases Allah and is not doing anything wrong to harm nobody, 9 times out of 10, you can actually use it to make some money. 9 times we not people that says like sister says she do the beanies and she all of that. I'm like, what? Do you know how many sisters out there? Like, what you do with that? Oh, I made it. Really? Right now you can put stuff on Spotify or you can put something on and you can make some money. All kind of things like that. So as a community of Halal Wealth Builders, we actually are building up that type of department as well, where we can help both of you to put your product out there. So we're definitely going to continue to stay involved. And in the next couple of weeks, we're going to reach back out and say, hey, look, we got this for you and this platform, and you're able to use it. So I want to thank you all for an amazing, amazing show. And I want to thank all of the followers. So Sister Aisha, if you could, let everybody know once again how they can contact you and connect back with you.
Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram at Aisha with an AYESHA with an AYE. Check my profile, see if there's anything, any way that you want to support me. So Friday's coming up, which is nationals. I'm not competing, but I am going as a like a second timekeeper to help out, which is in Florida, but it's in Pompano Beach. So if you guys want to help support me and get that trip taken care of, so I can have a peace of mind, definitely reach out for my merch and or book me.
Yes. Beautiful. Brother Sam, how can they reach you, family? How can they reach you?
Hey, the best way to reach me is on my Instagram. It's Dopamine Colors at Dopamine Colors under Sam Majid, MAJEED. From there, you can DM me. You can see my website, but my website's the same name at but the best way people normally communicate with me is via my Instagram. So at Dopamine Colors, Sam Majid, best way to reach me.
All right, well, there you have it. This is another show on Embrace the Day, powered by Halal Dawah Network. Thank you both so much. It was beautiful. We're going to stay in contact. Look for somebody to give you an email so we can put your merch on there and help you promote it.
Let's do it. I want to know about that, the thing in 2 weeks. What's that?
Send me
the info on that.
That's what I'm talking about. We give you the info with
okay.
Let me say, this is one thing of what I loved about it, right? They said, 30,000 Muslims is going to be there. I was like, what? So real quick, sister, how many did you do in front of? How many did you perform in front of, baby?
I'm not even sure because it was during the entertainment session. Okay. So it was on the big stage, but I guess some people might have been in their rooms or in other workshops or vending,
Okay.
I have no idea how many, but it was the biggest stage I had performed on last year for sure.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, if there's anything that we said that Allah's not pleased, may you forgive us. Everybody have an amazing day on purpose. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you, family.
Thank you.
Wanted to write you, man.
do, do, do.